And during the course of that, do you ask Mr. Davis about his involvement in the Biggie Smalls murder?
Yes.
And what is his response?
At that time, he said, no, we didn't have anything to do with that.
When he said we didn't have anything to do with that one, did that trigger anything in your mind as to what he was saying?
When I recall, yes. We were like, that one, what do you mean? And then he
What was
said,
it?
we did the other.
He said we did the other one. And so at that point, what did you think he was talking about?
Me personally, the only other one was Tupac. But we had nothing, we didn't think he was, we were talking about Christopher Wallace. We didn't ask him any questions about Tupac. He offered that on his own.
Nearly 30 years after Tupac Shakur was shot and killed in Las Vegas,
A jury is hearing two very different versions
of what Dwayne Keefe D. Davis told investigators. Years before prosecutors say Davis described being inside the Cadillac,
He denied knowing who killed Tupac.
that was in 1998. And the following year, Davis again denied involvement. For years, that was the story investigators had been given. But in 2008, everything changed. Former LAPD detective Darren Dupree testified. They asked Davis about Biggie. They did not, Dupree testified, ask him about Tupac. And that is when Davis allegedly volunteered. But according to Dupree, Davis didn't stop with that statement. Investigators later questioned him specifically about Tupac's murder, and the account Dupree says Davis gave them was far more detailed.
Davis stated that his nephew, Mr. Orlando Henderson, was jumped and beat up in a club or in a hotel in Las Vegas after the Tyson fight. He came and told Mr. Davis what happened. They went looking for Tupac, Suge, anybody who was involved, basically, in the beatdown of Mr. Anderson. And they couldn't find him at first, and then they saw him, and basically, Mr. Davis had the gun at first, but they came up on the passenger side of Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur's vehicle, so he couldn't shoot across the driver. So he handed the gun to Dre in the back seat, Andre Smith. He was afraid to shoot. Mr. Anderson grabbed the gun and shot across Mr. Smith into Mr. Knight's car that Mr. Tupac Shakur was in with Mr. Knight.
And did he tell you what kind of vehicle he was in?
He was a white Cadillac,
Did he tell you what kind of gun was used?
a 40 cal Glock.
And did he tell you after the shooting where the car went? If you recall. If you don't recall.
I don't recall.
Offer that you were part of. Did you verify any of the information?
If Davis really gave investigators that account, prosecutors have an obvious argument. But the defense says there is another question. How much of that story was independently verified?
That Mr. Davis told us?
Yeah.
We were trying to verify as much as we could.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what-
tell us the efforts. No, I'm sorry. Can you tell this jury the efforts that you made to verify the information that he gave you in 2008?
Flying to New York to try to get the relationship with Zip, Mr. Martin, because he was involved here in Vegas with the murder and the large sum of money that was supposed to be given to Mr. Martin to give to Mr. Davis. So that's why we flew to New York to try to get that whole thing going.
Right. And based upon your efforts in New York, were you able to verify that any of that information to be true?
No.
Now, in addition to that, there was other information that Mr. Davis gave up in 2008 in December. Did you verify any of that other information to be true?
I don't think any other information that he gave us was anything except the murder of Tupac.
Sure. Did you at any point verify, for instance, the people they identified in the vehicle?
No.
You are aware, of course, that some of the people that he had identified in the vehicle were still alive in 2008, right?
One was.
Who was that?
That was Terrence Brown.
Okay. Did you ever verify that Terrence Brown was in Las Vegas at the time of the murder?
He never got a chance to.
Why not?
As I said, our first course of action was to tie in Mr. Combs, the money, and work back from there.
So you fly to New York, it's a bust, you fly back, and then you never follow up on what happens with regards to Mr. Brown?
Well, I didn't.
You're part of the task force. Do you know if anybody else on the task force verified that information that Mr. Brown was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting?
No.
Now, in addition to that, we talked a little bit about the type of scenario that Mr. Davis is in, right?
The defense has also challenged the circumstances surrounding Davis's statements. At the time, investigators were using a serious federal narcotics case as leverage.
He's being targeted as a potential suspect in the Biggie Smalls murder. You developed information about him being a drug dealer, right?
Yes.
And you had said, I think how much time was he looking at? Life sentence?
I think so, yes.
Right, pretty heavy sentence, right?
Yes.
And so you had also targeted the idea, though, that it wasn't just him moving some large amount. It was people coming into his house, potentially his family. People could be arrested. His friends, for instance, that was part of that, and they all could go to prison, right?
One follow-up.
Changing accounts and gaps in independent verification. Prosecutors see it differently.
In your 34 years, 20 homicide trials, ever made a case on a guy confessing to a homicide?
Yeah, I've had a couple confessions. Yeah.
When you were talking to Mr. Davis and he's telling you what he's telling you, did you have reason to doubt his version of events as it relates to the homicide itself?
I didn't think Mr. Davis was lying because he put the gun in his nephew's hand. And if anybody knows anything from what I hear, Mr. Orlando Anderson was the man besides Keefe D in that neighborhood. He was the prince, and his family loved him. I didn't think that Mr. Davis would put the gun in his own nephew's hand, dead or alive, and put that smut on him unless it was true. The person that killed Tupac, well, in the neighborhood, he's a hero. In the world, he's a villain. So I didn't think Mr. Davis, me personally, would do that unless it was true with his own nephew, because I know he loved his nephew. They all loved Orlando.
Repeats that he had nothing to do with either Tupac Shakur or Christopher Wallace's murder.
Yes, he said that himself and Mr. Orlando Anderson were not involved in the shooting death of Tupac Shakur, and as well as anybody else that he was associated with, and with Tupac or Mr. Christopher Wallace, notorious b.i.g.
Does he speculate again as to who would have been involved in these two murders?
Well, he said, he told us he didn't know who killed the two rap stars, but that he believed individuals from New York associated with Puffy Combs or individuals associated with Death Row Records could have killed Shakur, and that individuals associated with Death Row Records killed Mr. Wallace.
And then he talked, and he repeatedly denies to you knowing who killed Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, he said they didn't have any knowledge of what happened, that they weren't involved. He did later speculate that maybe it was some Compton police officers that were working for Suge Knight, and that maybe it was because he had heard that Tupac was talking about possibly leaving Death Row Records or something to that effect. But
his suggestion was that perhaps Knight, who's driving the car, had Compton police officers shoot Tupac in the car Suge's driving.
yes, something like that effect.
And that leaves the jury with two versions of the same story.
In the late 1990s, Davis denied knowing who killed Tupac. A decade later,
We did the other one. And investigators say he then gave them a detailed account. Dwayne Davis has pleaded not guilty and is presumed innocent. Ultimately, the jury will have to decide which version they believe.